With the newest DLC trailer teasing a bunch of new characters that will be getting to Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, most of you might have noticed that actually almost every single character in that trailer is a returning character from Tenkaichi 3. Now this does not mean that the DLC will only feature Tenkaichi 3 characters, because they did say and more, but we also see new characters like Champa from Dragon Ball Super, who was obviously not in Tenkaichi 3. And with these small teasers, we can pretty much guess which other characters from Tenkaichi 3 would make a return and which other new Dragon Ball Super characters could actually make their first appearance in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Hello everyone, it's me again, Steedoji here, back to more Dragon Ball Sparking Zero information. I'm actually going to just start off by saying this right away. Obviously, if we're getting a DBS character like Champa, we're going to be getting more DBS characters. I imagine we'll finally get our second 1DP character, then finally adding characters like Monaka to the game, but we'll also be getting extra 10 DP characters because Champa is equal to Beerus, so obviously he's going to be 10 DP, and with Champa comes Vados, and Vados is also going to be 10 DP. Made even better by the fact that Champa and Vados, while they don't, fight in the series that much, Xenoverse 2 did give them full movesets, and Dragon Ball games aren't scared of taking moves from each other. A good example is, again, like Vegeta's Spirit Excalibur shows up in pretty much every game now. Vegeta's final Kamehameha is done the specific way Dragon Ball FighterZ always does it now in every other game. So nothing to worry about when it comes to the characters' movesets. Vados and Champa will have good moves to throw around. One thing I do want to mention though, since I'm talking about returning characters, a lot of them were Grey Apes, such as Grey Ape King Vegeta, Grey Ape Raditz, Grey Ape Nappa. I want to say King Vegeta's probably not going to make a return, maybe as a DLC character. He doesn't really have too much to offer, so his Grey Ape form isn't coming back. But also, the Grey Apes in general, there's just way less in Sparking Zero than there were in Tenkaichi 3, so I don't think they're going to add the Grey Ape forms back for the other characters. However, they are giving Bardock Super Saiyan, something he didn't even have in Tenkaichi 3, despite the fact that, his movie was out for ages. So I think with Super Saiyan Bardock means we'll get cool stuff like Bio Broly and other movie-exclusive characters that don't really make a cameo anywhere else. We know for a fact Pycon's in the DLC, so that's gonna, that's gonna do something. But for now, I just want to talk about the DP system. We'll talk more about the what-if characters and all the other exclusive stuff in a bit. I want to talk about how this benefits the game first, and then I want to tell you guys about the other characters we're definitely going to be getting, based on the ones that are missing from Tenkaichi 3 to Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. So yeah, we actually already have 2 10 DP characters confirmed just being added to the game off of that alone. But then, yeah, we also have a bunch of new DBS characters that they could potentially add. Monaka, Botamo, Megeta, even anyone else from the Tournament of Power. There's just a huge roster of potential DBS characters they can add. I'll get into that later. I want to talk about the returning characters from Tenkaichi 3 first, because I know a lot of you are really upset that there is zero Nova Shenron in Sparking Zero, and not to mention Ai Shenron was never even in Tenkaichi 3 to begin with, which sucks, but he can actually have his first time to appear in the series with Sparking Zero. But let's actually address the elephant in the room first. The returning characters are obviously, some of the less popular characters, like, again, Tao Pai Pai, Grandpa Gohan, Devilman, despite his really unique mechanic. Pycon, who I want to still count as one of the less popular characters, because while people are very loud about asking for him, they never actually play him when he ends up in any of these games. A great example is Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. People beg for Pycon, and then he goes into the game and no one plays him. So I would still put Pycon in the less popular category. Demon King Piccolo, who I am personally very hyped for because I just love him as an antagonist, and also Zangia, Bojack's henchman. Now, Zangia was actually playable in Tenkaichi 3 as well. I just completely forgot this because, bro, Zangia, no one's going to pick Zangia over, SHA Free Goku, okay? But she was playable in that game too, so it's nice to see her returning as a playable character in Tenkaichi 3, since even to this day, she's still not playable in Xenoverse 2, and people really regard Xenoverse 2 as the game that they just throw any character into when they just want to make, more money off of, playable DLC. This isn't even regarding redone characters or kind of new characters that have transformations. A good example is Hellfighter 17 and Bardock. Now, Bardock's getting SSJ, which he actually didn't even have in Tenkaichi 3, and it's even weirder that he's getting SSJ considering we're kind of out of the SSJ Bardock period, but default Bardock in Sparking Zero is actually the DBS Bardock, not even a DBZ Bardock. Now, obviously, this means we'll see DBS Bardock as a Super Saiyan for the first time in a Dragon Ball game, which is, pretty cool because DBS Bardock hasn't got that extra Super Saiyan story. It's only for Z Bardock right now. But also, Hellfighter 17, I'm pretty sure he's actually regarded as a new or separate character that can fuse with the OG 17 to then make, obviously, Super 17. And I think that's really cool. Super 17 is one of the more requested characters in the game, and unlike Pycon, he actually will get played because not only is he one of the 3 main GT villains, he also is a high-level key absorption character. Obviously, we had Dr. Gero and Android 19. Also, they can absorb ki, and they were really broken. If you guys remember, when Sparking Zero first came out, they were hilariously overpowered. And Super 17 will obviously be stronger than him because he's just a higher DP version of them with better skills, because key absorption, the bullet storm, full power energy wave, shocking death ball, he's going to just have really high stats, do really high damage, and then also be able to absorb key attacks. And since people use key attacks to engage a lot in Sparking Zero, he is going to be quite menacing. Although I don't know if they'll update missions like mission 100s to include him. I think they should, but they probably won't, because it'd be weird if mission 100 had more than 100 missions. So I don't know. I guess they're just, it's too late now. And obviously, oh man, like Sparking Zero's like new roster size is going to be quite impressive, because I'm pretty sure Sparking Zero already has more characters than Tenkaichi 3. Just by the time we got the first DLC pack of the DBS superhero characters, it had more characters than Tenkaichi 3, but now it's going to have an even bigger roster because we're getting some returning characters back. Now, obviously, we're not getting all of our returning characters back. I want to point out, by the way, that trailer was a trailer. It doesn't mean that that's going to be all the content inside the game. However, I do want to also say that Sparking Zero trailers do actually tend to usually show everything, but this was a teaser trailer. This wasn't the actual, like, you know, oh, here, big DLC launch trailer. Because DLC doesn't even release until, like, summer, and we only just started the year, so you guys can imagine we're still a bit away from the DLC's actual release window. But there's a ton of characters who haven't made it back yet. A good example is, and I'm just going to go off the top of my head, characters like Young Chi-Chi, General Blue, Nam, Android 8, or like Eta, you know what I mean? Great Saiyan Woman, Pilaf, both the Pilafs, because you have the first form of the Pilaf machine, then the second form. I imagine we'll get Cyborg Tai with the normal, like, Tao Pai Pai, but I don't know. Supreme Kai has a model in the game, you literally see it in one of the menus, but he's not playable, so I don't know. Maybe he won't even be DLC because he has a finished model, and he's still not playable. So I'm just going to assume Supreme Kai isn't going to be playable. I don't know if we'll get Arale in the game as well, as an example, because Arale was in Dragon Ball Super. She actually did show up in the like the filler, like what if, like a gag character episode where Beerus like erases like a ghost and all that cool stuff. So Arale has a chance of being playable, and they can even update her moveset with having her do the planet crack as a punch, and like the move where like you smash into her and knock her around the planet and then she comes back around and hits you. Those are some really easy moves to like implement as super attacks for Arale. So I'd be shocked if they didn't do that. So yeah, I would think Arale should be in the game. They didn't obviously show Nova Shannon, but I imagine Nova Shannon would get in because Super 17 is getting in, and he's very popular, and Nova Shannon's also very popular. And with Nova Shannon, they could do Ice Shannon. They didn't have to. He wasn't in Tenkaichi 3, but they could do Ice Shannon, which I think would be really, really cool. Especially because Ice Shannon could have like a, I don't know, you could have like a unique finish screen of Super Saiyan 4 Goku if they really feel like it, by having the Dragon Fist like reference or something. This obviously isn't even taking into account that obviously with, you know, what if characters like Super Saiyan Bardock, we could be getting characters like Bio Broly and all these other special movie characters. Hell, we might even get the Tamagamis later as DLC when they actually feel like it. But this is all a bunch of like massive speculation because we don't know. The trailer isn't actually out yet, and with the full trailer not being out yet, we don't know the full scope of the content we'll be getting in the DLC. Now again, remember, Sparking Zero loves to spoil all of its content, but most likely, I want to give the game the benefit of the doubt. There's no way this is actually all the content we'll be getting. They're obviously hiding some of it, they're teasing some of it. There's no way the DLC pack has got its full finished character roster several months before it's actually released, because that's like not too much work left for them to do. But regardless, I think that is a solid place to end the video. I do hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, then obviously again, please leave a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe, it's a great way to support the channel, and leave a comment down below as to what you'd like to see next. I do love you all, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you fellas all next time. Take care, and peace, peace, peace. Bye, bye.